Hello, my fellow pilots, and welcome again to another episode of Star Citizen FM. Episode 69. Okay, that aside, Star Citizen FM is the longest running fan show in the verse, determined to bringing you up-to-date information on Star Citizen, the community, and anything else in the verse that might catch your fancy. Star Citizen FM is hosted by yours truly, Dr. Hawk. So join me as we go over some of the many highlights that we had released this week at Gamescom. You guys may as well sit down and get cozy because there is a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be going over our usual 10-minute episodes. CIG was in Germany, Cologne this week, as they went over to Gamescom and unveiled some of the juiciest updates we've seen thus far for Star Citizen. Namely, the big topics among them being the FPS teaser or first-person shooter teaser, new hangars, racing in .9, as well as the big one that everyone is really obsessed with right now, the Constellation Sail. But we're going to go through these in a orderly fashion, so starting with the FPS module, let's try to dissect some of this footage. The FPS module was a crowdfunding goal that was reached a few months ago, and being that Star Citizen is running in the Crytek engine, the CIG team couldn't have picked a better engine to use a first-person module in. Now, we don't have a lot of details aside from the juicy video we have below, so very tense cinematic action and beautiful particle effects are all that we really have to go on, but just seeing the little bit is enough to already get me thinking back to Crysis and many of the other fun FPS games that I've experienced on the Crytek engine.
Maximum game.
Having an FPS module with some things such as boarding on the way, this will make those actions all the more easier. This is an even greater tool as it will allow some players who may not be particularly skilled at dogfighting or racing to enlist themselves in a more skilled and specialist role. We could have dedicated pirates and or mercenaries who are specialized takeout squads, focusing purely on, say, boarding a ship, gutting it, or just taking everyone hostage and or disabling the ship without even doing damage to the ship itself. Depending on how far CIG plans to take it, there could even be the FPS module's very own arena version, similar to Arena Commander, that'll allow pilots to practice their shooting skills and ensure that they are optimized for when they actually need to board and take down an enemy. Now, for a solid release date, we don't actually have one, aside from what the com link post and the video itself says. So for those of you that have itchy trigger fingers and are itching to shoot somebody in the face, be sure to keep an eye out for PAX Australia and make sure you're ready for combat. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more peaceful and maybe a little bit bored with your hangars, let's move on to something fairly interesting in regards to hangar news. From the moment Star Citizen was unveiled, Chris Roberts and CIG made it very clear that the hangar is your home. The hangar is where you will be coming to rearm, repair, tinker, and otherwise mess with your ship. It's also going to be the place that you bring your friends, showcase your achievements, and otherwise come to refer to as your base in the Star Citizen persistent universe. Unfortunately, when the first hangar module released, while pretty and a lot of dedicated work put into them, they aren't much more than that. They're hangars. Each hangar is just either bigger than one or the other, and maybe barring a few changes in lighting, color, as well as size and style, are not that visually different. They each just perform their function as a hangar. Well, coming patch .9, you will see a lot of that change. Coming with new functionality, animations, lighting, and in some cases even completely reworked areas, the new hangar module is sure to upheave or at least usurp the last. If you're interested in some of these hangars, all you have to do is just put on your patience cap and wait until patch .9 comes out for Star Citizen. Now, the estimated time for the patch was and is supposed to be around 2 weeks, but given CIG's past as well as unforeseen bullshit, you always have to keep in mind that it might be delayed. Not to say anything ill will about them, but famous words being shit happens, I'm pretty sure we might have some sort of crazy thing come around the corner. So I would ballpark your wait, or at least the estimate, to be 4 weeks. And if they get it out in 2 weeks, then you can color me pink and call me a liar. So that being said, keep an eye out for some sexy hangers in the future, and let us move on to one of the other interesting topics that has come out this week. Is your M50 sitting in the hangar striving to be racing against other players? Is your 350R 300i just wasting away in the hangar? Well, rest assured you don't have to worry about this any longer, as aside from pretty hangars that will be coming out in patch 0.9 hopefully, we also have finally seen, or at least have a glimpse of, the racing module. Now this is supposed to be released alongside the hangar update coming in 0.9, so for those of you like myself who have been aching for a little bit more than just crazy first-person shooting in the Arena Commander environment, this will be a true testament of piloting skill for those who want to show a little bit more than just how well they can shoot. The above video doesn't give us any light as to what exactly we'll be able to do in the racing module, as in terms of what kind of game modes, if there's going to be any specific race modes such as from point A to B, if it's lap, or etc. We won't know until we get to experience it in patch 0.9. But one thing I do want to say is this is very exciting. Given that the Star Citizen universe offers a lot of diverse options as well as playstyles, this will allow some of us to finally take our flying skills and apply them into a more constructive manner. Now, it's not sure out of the gate if the M50 is going to be the be-all end-all ship in the racing module, or if the 300i, which are the only two ships that we'll have available come the first release of the racing module, will be able to keep up. It could be possible that the 300i might be better at turning and acceleration, and then the M50 is just top-end high speed, or it could be completely the other way around. One thing is certain is I do want to see some sort of either A, parity between the two crafts so that all pilots have equal chance, or B, some form of modification and or skill that is involved in it, being maybe you lose more speed with a certain type of turn, or you're penalized for, let's say, not exactly flying the line if there is a specific line in the racing course. Kind of similar to some racing games that you experience, such as Forza Motorsport. You can check out the entire trailer for the racing module in the link to the description in the video below, and be sure to stay tuned in for when the racing module does come out, as I will be more than likely posting some racing information, tips and tricks, as well as things that might help you improve your game once the racing module does release. And with that being said, let us move on to the final coup de grace regarding this week's episode of Star Citizen FM, as we now finally have the Constellation variant sale.
Interspace. Location unknown.
Everyone okay?
I'm fine, sir.
Did we get it?
Jump point is charted, sir.
Good. Comms, we got any contact?
No, sir. Scope is clear.
Keep looking. Scarlet, take us on the tour.
With pleasure.
She's all yours, Doctor.
We've got a protoplanet, no atmosphere. Unknown planet 2. There's an atmosphere.
Doctor,
it could sustain life.
While it does not show the different kind of variants that are in the brochure, it certainly does make you want to buy a Constellation. For those of you unaware, the Constellation has had a makeover. Gone is the basic variant that we had once in our hangars, and welcome is the new one that should be in your hangar provided you have a Constellation. The Constellation has had an entire rework. From the exploration module, which has a much bigger increased field of view, to the luxury Constellation, which is perfect for traveling pimps and space entrepreneurs alike. This is the ship that you need if you want the versatility and everything in one package. There are now 4 Constellation variants available to you in your hangar, or available to you in the pledge store if you're so interested. The first one that we talked about previously is the Andromeda, and as suspected, it is the base model that you should have purchased or should have provided you bought a Constellation. This is the standard model Constellation. The Andromeda lets you and a team of friends take on the galaxy together. It includes a P-52 Merlin snub fighter, and the Andromeda has been fully updated and expanded with the latest patch. The next one, the Taurus, as suspected, is a cargo hauler. This so-called cargo constellation, the Taurus, is actually a dedicated freighter for those looking to make their way in the galaxy. If you're looking to build and expand your ship with credits and earned shipping goods on the space lanes, the Taurus is the choice for you. Finally, we have the Aquila, as featured in the trailer. The Constellation Aquila is the Roberts Space Industries dedicated explorer model. With a fully redesigned cockpit for maximum visibility and an onboard Ursa rover, the Aquila is the ideal choice for those hoping to discover new worlds. And finally, for those of you that have a more expensive taste of fashion and flair, the Phoenix is for you. With a fully redesigned luxury interior, the Constellation Phoenix mixes proven RSI engineering with the creme de la creme of I can't say the French, so forgive me, of luxury styling. But the Phoenix isn't just for luxury ship buyers and organization leaders. It also includes a sensor dampening cargo pocket for transporting sensitive goods, which I'm pretty sure is illegal. The Phoenix also packs the punch of a speedy P-72 Archimedes fighter in its bay and a classy Lynx rover. And it appears we were not too far off from our initial guesses and estimations of what the Constellation variants would be, what they're capable of, etc. So, if those of you are interested in purchasing your very own Constellation or even upgrading, you can do so in the pledge store on robertsspaceindustries.com. One caveat is to be mentioned, however. If you're interested in the luxury Phoenix package, you have until Monday, August 25th, or while supplies last, as there's only 5,000 hulls, to get your own Phoenix variant. Now you will be able to earn it in game, but if you want it right now, you better make sure you buy it as soon as possible. At the time of this recording, there are only 4,500 left, so be sure to check it out as soon as possible. For those of you who are just interested in buying the different models, they are respectively as follows. The Constellation Andromeda will set you back $225 US. The Constellation Taurus will set you back $150 US. And the Constellation Aquila will set you back $275 US. Now for those of you that have money to throw around, if you're feeling like dropping $350 US on the Phoenix, go for it. Each one of these ships is available to upgrade on your own, so if you already have an existing Constellation hull and you would like to do it, they can be upgraded respectively. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you on your merry day and let you fly back into the wild blue yonder. For those of you that are interested, however, there was one final tidbit that was released from Gamescom. It was the Constellation multi-crew gameplay experience. So for those of you who are wondering what multi-crew gameplay is going to look like, we have 3 people defending a constellation from what looks to be 2 nefarious Hornet pirates. Now this is very rough, and remember, just an alpha, so some things are a little jerky and a little rough, but this will give a general idea of what co-op will be like in Star Citizen. So be sure to stay tuned after the outro for checking out the co-op experience of the Constellation. In the meantime, if you guys have enjoyed the show, please do click on the fuzzy little hawk on the lower left hand corner if you're interested in subscribing, or you can do so on the upper left hand corner to follow me. I also can be found on Facebook, so you can keep up to date on posts, announcements, and other Star Citizen news. Twitter with the same intention. I can also be found on the various other places such as Twitch TV if you're interested in viewing some of my gameplay streaming, and if you're interested in supporting Star Citizen FM, you can do so on patreon.com. Do remember, it is sort of like a tip system, so you're able to set your very own limits, even if you only want to help support with $1 a month. And to those of you that are supporting Star Citizen FM, I'd like to give you a heartfelt thank you for being staying on this long with me. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off. I look forward to seeing you guys for the 70th episode of Star Citizen FM, and I would like to take a quick thank you to thank Michael Moreland for doing a quick spotlight on Star Citizen FM and just showing how far we've come as a tiny little fan show to the show that we are now. So with that being said, you all take care, fly safe, and I'll see you on the next episode of Star Citizen FM.